This video is to support you with facilitating lessons 53, 54, and 55 of the 5th grade Excel curriculum. This week, students are doing work with decimals. In lesson 53, students are writing decimals. In this first problem, this lesson doesn't start with any type of examples. They jump right into work. And they are translating numbers that are written in words and in expanded form into decimals. And then they're going to use their answers to break a code. So it might be helpful to model how to solve a few of these before setting students off to do it on their own. So if we look at this first one, the M, we see 1 times 1 plus 2 times 1/10 plus 3 times 100. We know that 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times the ones. 2 times 1/10 is 2/10. And 3 times 100th is 300ths. So that's how I get 1 2300ths. If I look at D, I have the words. I need to write it as a decimal. I have 5 2900ths, which is 5.29. So I would give students the opportunity to either work independently, and as you circulate, just support students with making sure they're translating what they see correctly. And then they're using that same strategy as they jump into the additional practice problems for the day. If you want to make sure that students get to the heart of the work, it is okay if they start with questions 9 through 19 first and then go back to the activity, which is more fun and a bit of an application of what they're practicing. When you jump into lesson 54, students are comparing decimals. It might be helpful if students have access to colored pencils. They each just need one. That will be helpful as they get through some of the examples and problems for the day. So this lesson starts with a couple of examples where they're comparing decimals and they're using a model. So in this grid, well, we're first comparing 4900ths to 6200ths. So in the first grid, we want to shade 4900ths, which I have done in black. And in this grid, I've shaded 6200ths in green. Again, they can use the same color. Then they're going to literally look at the pictures and compare. So I see that I've shaded 49 of the 100 squares compared to 62. 62 is bigger. Therefore, 6200ths is larger than 4900ths, or 4900ths is less than 6200ths. Students can also compare the same decimal using a place value chart. So a place value chart is given to students here. They first want to write the numbers on the chart, and then they're going to compare each digit beginning with the largest. So if I look at the ones place, I have the same digits, nothing to compare here. I'm going to keep going. Now I look at the tenths place. I have a 4 and a 6. 6 is larger than 4. So therefore, 6200ths is larger than 4900ths, or 4900ths is less than 6200ths. As they get into the try it problem, it's going to be helpful if students draw or have access to a place value chart so that they can fill it in as you see here, and they can follow the same steps. When they see the 5 and the 4, they'll see that the 5 is greater than 4. That's how we're able to figure out that 3500ths is greater than 3400ths. We're going to use that same process as we compare 1 3/10 with 1 2/10. I look in the ones, they are the same. I look in my tenths. 3 is greater than 2. Therefore, 1 3/10 is greater than 1 2/10. This problem, if you look at step 5, is also giving students to locate the numbers on a decimal line, on a number line, and compare the decimals that way. That's also an option for students. And then they can use that to determine what strategy they would use to compare 2/10 and 20/100. And then they're using their strategies to get through the practice problems for the day. Again, questions 1 and 2 are where it's going to be helpful to have a colored pencil. They're using that place value chart in 3 through 6, and then the number line in 7 through 9. And then the questions continue. In the last lesson of the week, students are still working on comparing decimals. Here your decimals they just have more place values, or more numbers. They're a little bit longer. Students can use the same process to compare decimals here. And the examples walk them through the exact same strategies we were working on. In example B, the question is framed a little bit differently. So we're told that Jenna and Luke are in a competition. We're giving Jenna's score, and we're giving Luke's score, and we need to know who has the greater score. Same process. I write out the decimals. I identify where the numbers are different. This was Jenna. This was Luke. 7 is greater than 6. Or lose. So lose has the greater score. I can use the same process for the try it. And then students are going to use the exact same strategies as they jump into the practice problems. This place value chart that we keep using, that's really helpful as students get used to what steps they're going to take to compare decimals. It might be helpful to have a bunch of place value charts available for students, or to have a piece of paper inside of a sheet protector where students can erase quickly so that they can compare, particularly as they get to questions 6 through 17.